Alright everybody, this is the start of update number 3 on the Abrams 148 scale tank from Tamiya. It took me 2 weeks to assemble the tank. I took my time, had a lot of tedious parts. Tedious. It had a lot of small parts, so it was tedious. But she went together alright. I had no problems. It's just all sitting together because I'm going to primer it up today. This is Friday, December 21st at 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm going to prep this and get it ready for my spray booth and get it all primered up today. Same with the guns and the Commander. I'm going to use the Badger's primer. And then I'm going to go over the whole tank with the NATO Black that I have right here, XF69. I'll have to thin that out, and then after that dries I'm going to go over it with some flat white. I got a little bit left in here, XF2, Tamiya flat white. If I run out, I've got a whole new bottle right here. And then after all that's done, I'm going to hit it with, I already mixed these up last weekend, the buff and desert yellow. I mix those up and put it in this jar right here. So it's got the proper amount of thinner and it's ready to go. Just have to mix it up and put it in my airbrush and apply it to the tank. And I'll have plenty of this left over. I'll probably do a couple more tanks. But the overall color will be the mixture of the buff and the desert yellow. I made a label up for it. So that's what I got planned on my workbench today, is get this primered up. Then tomorrow I'll probably be able to hit it with the NATO Black and the flat white, and then probably New Year's weekend I'll finish this tank up with the paint. So right now I'm going to go ahead and pause and get the spray booth set up for the tank, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the tank. I did the tracks in the Badger primer. You can see right here. And turned out pretty good. But I'm having problems with the primer coming out of my airbrush. I do have a 0.5mm needle, but I'm using a 3 and it's just not coming out as easy as it should. And I have it at 30 psi. But I did the tracks and they turned out pretty decent. So I'm going to go ahead. This is no longer available. It's the poly scale zinc chrome primer. I'm going to go ahead, and I got a couple bottles of this in stock. I'm going to go ahead and use it on the tank itself. Which right here you can see the canopy. See the turret, and I jury rigged this up so I can get the bottom and the top, and I think that'll work out just fine when I airbrush it. So I'll go ahead and get this all set up in my spray booth to get this ready to use this primer on it. So let me go ahead, pause, set this all up, and I'll be right back. Alright everybody, back on the tank. I'm going to go ahead and start with the turret first with the zinc chrome primer. Got it mixed up, ready in airbrush, and I got the PSI about 20. So I'm going to get the turret first. display that was all in frame. I'm going to move on to the top of the tank. Upper hull. Right here. Do this next. Looking pretty cool. I got the commander and the two machine guns. I'll hit that next. I'll have to flip it over after it dries and do the other side, but it's looking good. Now I got the lower section. See, a little tricky there. See if I can get this back section right here. A little tricky. This zinc chrome's going on pretty good. I'm a little heavy on it, but it'll even out and dry pretty decent. You can see right here. So let me go ahead, pause the camera, finish this up, and show everybody the results later. I think the chrome primer is looking good on the tank. So let me pause, finish this up, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the tank. I already touched it up off camera with the primer I decided to use, the poly scale. zinc chrome primer. I wish they still made this paint, but they don't. It's good primer. You can see here that the turret turned out really nice. So I'll let this dry overnight. I did the upper and lower hull. It turned out pretty decent. There's the commander. He turned out pretty cool. The guns, like I said, upper and lower hull turned out pretty good. Then I did the tank tracks in Badger primer, which I was having problems with it coming out. I'll have to figure out what kind of thinner I can get for it. At least I did the tracks with the Badger primer. Turned out good. Tomorrow I'll hit everything with a NATO black. So I'll let this sit overnight. I'll pause for now. Talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the tank. This is Saturday morning, December 22nd. It's around 10 o'clock in the morning. Back down in my shop. Today I'm going to work again on the tank. Yesterday I hit the tank with the zinc chrome primer from Poly Scale. And turned out really cool just in the primer. Did the turret, I did the lower and upper hull, and then I used the Badger primer on the tracks. You can see here. So my goal today is to hit the whole tank and the tracks with the NATO Black XF69, and then go over it with this flat white XF2. I'll have to set up the camera for the spray booth, get this all set up and get it ready for some NATO Black. So I'm going to go ahead and pause for now and talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, back on the tank. I'm going to do the turret and the upper hull of the tank in the NATO Black. I'll film that and then I'll finish the rest of it off camera. So let's get started. looking pretty good. Now I'll do the upper hull. Alright everybody, I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera and finish this up, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the tank. The NATO black went on really fine, no problems. Off camera I hit it with a couple more coats. It's looking really good. Did the lower hull, you can see here. Did the tracks. Upper hull. I know being this color the lighting ain't that great. I'm getting ready to apply the flat white to the tank. So I figured I'd give everybody a quick update. I'll set that all up. I'll pause for now and talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, back on the tank. I got the flat white mixed up in my airbrush, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the turret and then the upper hull of the tank. I'll film that and then I'll pause the camera and finish up off camera the lower hull and any touch-ups. So let's get started. hopefully that was all on camera. Looking pretty cool. Go ahead and get the upper hull next. Well, hopefully that was all in frame. Do a little bit more. Alright everybody, I'm going to pause for now, finish this up and show everybody the results when I'm done with the flat white, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the tank. Friday and Saturdays, like I said in previous videos, are my weekends. I work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's my work week. So Friday and Saturday I primered the tank up, hit it with some NATO black, and then went over it with flat white. You can see here, and everything turned out fine. I had no problems with the kit so far. It's got a lot of parts, small parts, so it is a little tedious, and I think for what I've done so far, for this being my first tank, it turned out pretty cool. Next weekend, New Year's weekend, I'm going to finish up the tank with the two colors I mixed up, the buff and desert yellow. I'll apply that next weekend, The tracks are done. I did those in a dark iron. If I can find it. And it's XF84. That's what I painted, airbrushed the tracks. First hit it with the NATO black, and then yesterday I worked on the Commander. Even though I'm not going to use them, I'm going to go ahead and paint them up. You can see what I've done so far. I still have to do his face and do where my thumb is down there. I got to do that. I think that's in olive drab, but it's looking good. Then the guns, I worked a little bit on the machine guns last night, added some color, and that's looking really good. I did the machine guns in gunmetal. And then the rounds in that box there, I did that in olive drab, I think. So I'm going to go ahead, call this a wrap for part 3. Next weekend I'll finish this up with the buff and the desert yellow. I'll go ahead and finish it up New Year's weekend. So I'd like to thank all my YouTube subscribers. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, sub to my channel. I know I'm not the best teacher in the house. I have sometimes problems spitting out what I want to say when I do my videos. I get tongue-tied sometimes, but I'm working on it. But for right now, we'll call this a wrap for part 3 on the Tamiya 148 scale Abrams tank, and I'll talk with everybody later.